We so appreciate you being here. What we did was we had a 5-week writing class where people took a stand-up class and they wrote for each other. So they had to write a set for somebody else, and if they didn't do the work, when that person came to class the next week, they didn't have a set. So it's about everybody, the hard work of being yourself, basically, because that's the hardest thing to do when you walk in front of an audience, is just be yourself. And that's what tonight is these these students coming tonight, the 6 of them and a guest spot, are here to share who they are with you, their friends and family. So please give all the comedians tonight a big hand. Share your love with them. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Paul Sveen, and I am a stand-up comic, and I teach a comedy class. This is my 22nd year of teaching this class, and this is the beginning of a 5-week stand-up comedy class that's going to end on a stand-up comedy performance on that stage right there. The plan behind this class is for everyone in this class basically to be themselves, and it sounds simple, but it's real powerful because nobody can be you. And if you can put who you are, the theme of your story in your stand-up, then it's something no one's ever heard before. I'm going to introduce everybody in this class. This is the beginning again of this class. It's going to be 5 weeks, culminating on them building their stand-up comedy set through the 5 weeks, and then sharing it in front of a stand-up comedy audience. I guess if I think of the one thing over all the years I've been teaching this class and performing stand-up comedy, the one thing that to me I think makes the biggest difference is when you start out as a creative person, you know, it's like stand-up, for instance, to think of what is exactly it is that you're trying to attract, whether it's a comedy CD or a DVD or a performance on TV or your own TV show, to write a book, to become an actor, whatever your goals are. Your stand-up comedy and what you feel, your energy inside of you, has to align with that goal. So when you're on stage performing stand-up, you're not only being funny and being different because you're being yourself, but you're also attracting your goal through the energy that you're sharing in your material. It takes a lot of work. I call it embedding emotion into material, and that's what we're going to achieve during this class. So this is the beginning, and it's going to be an awesome journey. It's going to come to an awesome end, and we will see you at the end of this class in a little over 6 weeks. It's going to be awesome.
Hello, I'm Patrick McManus, and I'm taking Paul Sveen's advanced comedy class. I've taken it through a few other courses, and each one I've learned a lot. And this time I'm hoping to, I guess, sort of learn the difference between performing for an audience and playing with the audience. The last couple of times I've done comedy, it was really enjoyable because it was interactive, and I was responsive to the crowd, and they were more responsive to me. It was much more personable and interactive, and I really enjoyed that. So that's what I'm hoping to learn. But each time I take the course, I learn a lot, but I don't necessarily learn what I started out to learn. That things come up as I go along, and that's another aspect I really enjoy in the course.
Hi, my name's Alex Shurjang. I go by the stage name of Alex Shurthang. I took 2 of Paul's other classes, and I gained a lot from them. After the second class last time, I did stand up for about 1.5 years solid and did at least 80 shows. It was a lot of fun, but I got a little too serious and I stopped having fun with it and actually being able to show my vulnerability, I guess. Also willing to take risks on stage, because if I could have just been into the fun moment, I could have had a lot more fun with the crowds at the time. So I guess I'm taking the course just to kind of get my feet wet and stand up again and maybe light a fire under my ass. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Sabrina Sperber, and I'm really excited about this class. It lets me be me on stage, but it also helps me make sure that everyone that gets to come has a great time and forgets about what horrible things have happened to them all week. I hope to achieve a few things for myself. I did enroll in a couple of acting classes. I do want this to go beyond just one stage, 2 stages in Edmonton. So after this, I really hope to be able to be confident and make people laugh all over Canada. Wouldn't that be great? Thanks.
Hi, I'm Brian Wiest. I'd like to continue with the study of stand-up comedy. I've done Paul's beginner's course, really enjoyed it. I'd like to go further. I'd really like to explore just how far I could actually go in this business myself, and hoping to have a lot of fun and discover more things about myself again at the time. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Con Mullen. I'm a variety entertainer and the entertainment genius, and I'm using this class to develop material for my comedy, magic and variety shows. Specifically, my goals for this class are to come up with 5 minutes of new comedy material and also to hone and develop some of my other comedy stand-up material. And that's it. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Clint Work, and I'm here taking Paul Sveen's comedy class. And the biggest thing for me is getting past my fear. What do I want to attract? I want to attract audiences that like my goofy sense of humor. I just want to get on stage, and I just want people to, you know, maybe say a little bit, yeah, that guy's kind of funny. You know, I mean, like a little bit of that, because in the back of my mind, the biggest thing for me is the hardest thing that I've had to deal with is if there's somebody in the audience that I feel like they're judging me. I'm like, oh no, they don't think I'm funny. You know what? The bottom line is I just want to have fun. I don't know what my style of comedy is yet. I'm still learning. My biggest goal, I guess, in this class is I want to get past that fear, and I just want to have fun on stage.
This is now the start of the comedy class, and they're all being distracted because I'm talking over them while they're working on their set. And what we're doing is we're going to start the class with just a story, a 5-minute story about something that reveals us, who we are as a person. And the idea behind that is it's easy to go on stage and chain a couple of jokes together and turn it into a set, or we can start our set with a story that reveals who we are and then build on that and the emotion that's in that story. That is the plan. That's what we're about to do, and it is now go time.
Well, one day I'm driving along the white mud, and I feel really happy because I'm coming from Fort Edmonton Park, and I'm dressed sort of like a clown, you know, bright shirt, red pants, yellow shirt, and all of a sudden, off the 119th Street overpass, I see this thing drop down. It's like a garbage bag, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, there's going to be glass in that, and it's going to rip my tires. So I start stomping on the brake, tapping it a bit, and I'm in an old Oldsmobile way back, and as I'm coming along, I see right in front of me, on the road ahead, looking up from the pavement, is the face of a young woman, and she'd actually jumped, or fallen up actually, she jumped off the overpass, and I do a brake stand, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't hit this person, and I can't go to the right, I can't go to the left, because there's vehicles on each side. And just as I'm getting there, I start to slow down, and I go, whoa, I'm not going to hit her. And then the guy behind me rear ends me and pushes me right towards her, and the last I see is she disappears in front of my car, and I stop. And I get out, and I walk around to the front of the car, and I'm feeling kind of rubbery, and I look down, and her head was that far away from my right front tire, and she was still alive, and she very badly injured but still alive, and I knelt down beside her and she opened up her eyes and she looked at me and she went, oh my God. She didn't shout, but I could see the expression on her face because I'm dressed as a clown. I had yellow shirt, red pants, you know, top hat on, and she gave me that look, and we got her off in the ambulance, got her to the hospital, and I found out where she was, and I got in to visit, and her husband said that she saw me coming and said to her, that's the car, and she made a flying run and jumped over the edge. And when I walked into the room to see her for the first time after this, she looked up at me from the bed and she just said, thanks for not killing me. And I said, anytime, lady, anytime. And that was it.
But there's people like Maria Bamford, who suffers from bipolarism, schizophrenia, all that stuff. She's one of the top comedians in the world, and she goes out and she doesn't shy away from those things. But the difference is, if you tell somebody a statement and there's no laughter out of it, then it's just a statement.
Here we are in our second class and of a 5-week comedy class. This class will finish with all the students being in front of an audience at a comedy club telling their story. Last week we worked on some writing mechanics, how to find a premise, how to find the emotion, and put that emotion into a punchline. Today we're going to work on a set, taking the beginnings of our set with some of the material that we've added to it over the last week, and we're going to go share it on stage during this class here. We're also going to get into the habit of foreshadowing our next joke in our set, so that when we take our story, which is everything, and then we start adding material to it, the material has a chronological flow to it. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way, but I like to show people the idea of foreshadowing, how to use one joke to set up the next one. The very key about this class is to be yourself. And the way we be ourselves is tell the stories we're afraid to share. It's the things we're afraid to share, our secrets, that really define who we are. They have a lot of emotional power also because we're afraid to share them. And when we do share them, an audience member, people in the audience, for the most part will go, you know what, I feel that way too. Our normal makes our audience feel normal. And this is all happening in the second week of our comedy class, which is about to start right away.
Like, I'm sure everybody in here has been with a couple of their friends, where they have some close friends, that where they just start talking, you just make them laugh the whole freaking time, and you leave, you feel like you're Jerry Seinfeld, right. Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, whoever,
right.
Carlin, whatever, because your friends are laughing so hard, and I think that's where it gets hard. Like,
well, it's hard because you've taken a lot of years and months and weeks and a lot of time for your friends to get to know you. You've over a period of time, you've allowed your friends to get to know you, and they're in your heart. Like, you're totally being yourself. You feel comfortable and safe around them. We only have 7 minutes up there on that stage. You have 7 minutes to replicate that with an audience that's never seen you before. And we do that by replicating the same energy with our friends, the same comfort level, the same style. When you're not tense with your friends, you're not uptight, you're not racing to the punchline. Up there you are, though.
Yeah.
We all are. We need to find a place on that stage where we get to be ourselves. And we do. Go ahead.
take one.
Yeah, okay, for the journaling that you had us do every night, three pages a night.
3 pages a day in the morning.
Yeah. I had difficulty finding value in it at first.
Why?
But, because I just didn't know what to write, I think was the biggest thing. So I just started writing. It's become basically a diary where stuff from the past that I remember or something funny that happened recently, it all goes in. And especially stuff in the background, I'm starting to remember things by writing it. That's some of which are really funny that I've forgotten about for years. And now I see the value of it. That's what you're you're giving us to us by doing that.
100%. You know,
Oh, we can't contain it anymore. We both start laughing. And the guys that are watching, oh yeah, I should have known it was just a performance, knowing these two guys, But anyway, he was also interested in professional wrestling. And God knows the guy could have made it physically. And he heard me talk about a teacher that I'd had in junior high who actually was in the business. And he said, you talk to that friend of yours and see what he can do. Well, then his mother heard about this. And she talked to me, and she had the accent too. And she said, don't let McKinney do that. Don't, And I said, what, you're scared that he's going to hurt somebody, right? No, you know what he's like. I'm scared he's going to hurt somebody. I'm Brian Wiest.
ask a question. This is class number 3.
Yes, sir.
And the work we were supposed to do on this class is to write stand-up from another perspective. And that perspective is to write from another person's point of view. So you wrote a set for another person in this class.
Yes, I did.
And they wrote a set for you.
Yes, I did.
So now, how did you find that exercise?
It was difficult.
Why?
'Cause in some ways, I could see how he would say things, but in another way, it was very hard to take a lot of me out of the act. So I found that I just let it go through anyway and just did it the way I would, even though he may never use the set, he'll at least find a few things that he can use for his bit if he chooses to use it.
In today's class, the students took others' material in the class and wrote their set, and the other student wrote their set. So they basically switched story ideas and they tagged them. So today's class is about writing for somebody else from your perspective. So two things are happening here. One is you're seeing a story from someone else's point of view as far as writing for them. And then the student that lived the story is having somebody tag their story from a totally different perspective. How did you find this week, Connor?
I found it very interesting because I
Yeah, that's great. Listen,
wrote a set.
I want to. No, I'm kidding.
I wrote a set, and then I realized this set's more about me. It's not about.
Yeah, it was somebody else's set.
It's
Yeah.
somebody else's set, so I scrapped it.
Cool.
And it was a pretty good set. Hey, I scrapped it and I rewrote the set, and I said, okay, this is about somebody else, and this is what will happen if they're doing this, and it helped me to look at things from a different perspective. I tend to look at them too much from moi.
Diet plans are for pussies. Let's just face it. Try to survive 6,000 calories a day. Enough fat to choke a hippo. Diet plans are just not for me. However, I realized quickly that I have been slowly, subtly recruited into eating healthier, drinking more water, and leaving my junk food behind. Being cheap means I primarily raid other people's fridges. It's been rough. Salads with only 1 teaspoon of dressing, then steamed broccoli and cauliflower. Alas, apparently in this diet, you can eat bacon. And I mean, all you can eat bacon. Not too long ago, I told my 20-year-old son, since you haven't finished college and you aren't able to know exactly where your path is leading you, you're welcome to live here with me rent-free. So both of us live with my parents.
Look at that guy. Look how he Gasly grabs the microphone. He's on tape.
Don't you love how masculine
Look
it
at
is to show up in that color? I love it.
Hello. Hi, testing.
It's all right.
Yep.
It's on? Okay.
Yeah. It's nice and low this week.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alex Sherjang. Some people are too nice. I'm not. For example, I don't believe in needless pain and suffering. If my wife had something in her teeth like broccoli, I'd tell her, "Hon, what have you been doing? Blowing the green giant?"
you see the difference between working on your own material opposed to a random idea.
Yeah, I could tell the difference. And then after I did the 6 jokes, or 5, or however many I got on paper there, I went and I started working on my set. Because I decided to do it from scratch.
Okay.
And
that's cool.
Talking to Sabrina actually helped. She called me this afternoon to ask where I was on my homework. And I said, nowhere. Procrastinated again. But talking to her for an hour, we came up with enough funny stuff between us talking that I was like, okay, now I have these ideas I can work on.
You would have called them.
What kind of a
You would have
story?
been in the booth.
Okay, so now Sabrina, what did you like between the ideas of working on the random jokes for a concept opposed to working on your real material, your set? What did you find was the difference between the two?
So I think right now in the class, I realized that this advanced writing class is definitely pushing me because I now feel like I'm not the advanced writer that I know I can do comedy, but I feel like recently with the writing for someone else, my struggle is I have my thoughts, I know my funny, I don't know why I can't get the written word to do the same thing.
So Brian, how was it working on the different ideas, the different set, and then working on your set? What was the difference for you?
Oh, a big difference was writing on just a premise that you gave us forced me to be more creative than I think I've been, I don't know when, because it was just harder, it was more challenging, but it was also more rewarding in that I come up with stuff that I didn't think I was capable of.
One day I was on 91st Street and the traffic was all backed up and everything, but it was a beautiful day, so I rolled the windows down. It was quite a nice day, and looking around at the other drivers all looking bored. And then all of a sudden I see smoke bellowing out of this business, like black acrid smoke, and I thought, oh my God, I can put my car in park and run over and save somebody's life or whatever. And then I took a second look and I realized it was the Serenity Chapel and Discount Crematoria. And all this black smoke was piling out and it's rolling across 91st towards my car. And I'm just like, oh my God, no, it's dead guy smoke. Like this is just...
What did you think of the exercise of writing for the auto parts set and then you're writing your own set? What was the difference?
Auto parts? What?
Yeah, the couple going to bring their part to the auto store. Were you here last week?
No.
He was not.
You were not here. Did you read the website?
No. Don't
look away when I ask you that.
Film me this.
Look at me.
Look at me. Can you look at me?
Yeah, I'm looking at the camera and I'm looking at you.
Okay, so, but you got your set ready, eh?
Not really.
Okay, I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, I know. I forgot to get pizza for my son, and it totally set me back. I was ready to go. He wanted, because he's a Ottawa Senators fan, the hockey game's on tonight, and he wanted pizza, and I forgot. And then I was like, oh, I gotta get that. And then when you get the pizza, you have to wait for it. And I'm like, I gotta get going. And was it raining in town here? It just started pouring on the way into town, and then I stopped for a snack, which I shouldn't have.
Are you doing your set?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Okay.
His critique of the instructor at the very end, I thought that was very insightful and useful to the entire class. I like that it was, I guess the honesty of it, that he was quite self-depreciating and poking fun at himself, and he was able to do it.
About being fat? Mm-hmm. Okay. Alrighty, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, the story is, you meet somebody and a very common greeting is, hey, how are ya? And we always, whoever says anything but fine. You can be ready to croak, ready to die, and you still say, oh, I'm feeling great. So.
Okay, hold on. That's a premise.
Yeah.
Can you give me a story about this?
Yeah, okay. I'll give you a story. So, somebody asks you how you doing, and so you're going to be honest.
Who is this person?
A friend, somebody, you haven't seen in a year or so. You ask him how you're doing, and you say, well, my hemorrhoids are really flaring up, and, you're scratching your butt. And no surprise, he doesn't want to shake your hand.
Okay. Did that actually happen?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a story.
I have epilepsy, and you can be burned on the stake for that. So your parents become like uber protective, and they're German parents. So and so it just unwinds from just how protective my mom, and how after realizing I have epilepsy at 10. There's not going to be a lot of alone time. I'm going to be bound by some of my mom's laws and protected by her, and that just tends to alter your life. So if the epilepsy really doesn't alter your life, it's your mom who's just a little clingy. That's my story.
How are you so far, like towards the end of the class, with your set?
The set, I gotta think about it. I need more jokes. I need funny.
Did you find that the work in the class, or?
Oh yeah, well it made me, when I say more joy, it made me sort of dig a little deeply into things that maybe aren't that funny, so I gotta make them funny, and
okay.
I think that's where it was.
Do you see the value of having a story around your set?
Yeah, it gives you a structure, and also it gives you a way of connecting with people, because we like story. People, we're all about story since the beginning of time.
100%.
Since we sat around in the old caves. I wasn't there, by the way, but when they sat around in the old caves.
Now you're backtracking.
We told stories. No,
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, buddy.
And thank you too for a great course.
Thank you.
It's excellent.
And then, what else was that? Sitting right between you guys, I took that. Every first date. Oh.
Yeah.
So how was? Oh my God.
What do you want? What do you want, Paul Sveen?
Okay. How did you have? How did you find this class? How did you the work?
I actually enjoyed it. I've noticed that this class is actually evolving in the material that is covered in this class. I took this class, I believe, 3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. And now towards the end of the class, we're actually in our writing actively trying to insert running gags and tags, callbacks.
Yeah.
Which the last time I took the course, we didn't really get into the mechanics of the writing. Here it's now, the premise is something you said with emotion, or the punchline story, about the premise, which is really where you do get your energy on the laugh from the act out, or like with Con or Sabrina when they were doing their the more that they either used a voice or jumped or posed, or in Con's case danced, it made the punchline that much better. It made it more believable.
It's the emotion also.
Right.
Awesome. How did you find this, Patrick? I'm going to ask you again tomorrow night after you do after your set's over.
Well, actually, I'm looking forward to this set, because I think with a bit more practice, it'll flow a lot better. But I enjoyed myself on stage tonight.
Yeah, I can really see you laughing.
Bantering a little bit.
You're having a lot of fun up there.
And I'm just trying to pretend everybody's my pets. Like they said, you should try to visualize people naked when you do some public speaking. But no, the crowd's wrong. So that was exactly what I was thinking of. But it went really well.
You're great, buddy. How did you find the class, Brian?
Well, it was quite challenging, because I guess part of me was expecting it to be similar to the introductory course, and it wasn't, because the introductory course was comparatively like telling jokes to your friends, in no order, just crack a joke and away you go. But here you're actually learning how to do this on a professional level, and to really hone it. And it was really challenging at times, to hold back and say, no, there's a right and a wrong way to do this, and we're here to learn the right way. And it was hard,
Awesome.
but also quite rewarding.
Yeah, well, the evolution of your arc
Yeah.
through the 5 weeks. You could see it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Just all the things, your idiosyncrasies, the things you were saying, you started to streamline and become more vulnerable. And it's not easy to be vulnerable.
Absolutely.
It's not. And you did a good job, my friend.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Hey, back. Well, to be honest, I really, really enjoyed this class. I enjoyed it more when I actually was the most challenged. I was afraid, but when we had to write for each other, I learned the most about me as well.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think I could get their story across through my head in writing. And that's where I learned so much more. And then when we actually got together as a group, even outside class, reciting your stuff and then having immediate feedback right away on, how can we improve that? Where's the punchline in your sentence, Sabrina? When you get someone questioning that with you and then bantering it back and forth,
nice.
You learn it and it sits in. Totally rewarding class. I gotta compliment Paul Sveen on that part too, because he reinforces what you sometimes forget in between weeks. So Paul always comes to this class and reminds all of us, come out there and give me you.
Here we are, it's week 5, and the class is over. My students are about to get on stage and share their 7 to 10 minute set that they've developed over the last 5 weeks. The idea behind this class was to look into their own personal story, because our story is our market brand. It's unlike anybody else's story, and we take our story and we use the writing mechanics of looking for premises and punchlines and working on different genres of stand-up, of joke writing, misdirection and sarcasm, and then rehearsing, working on the work coming from different perspectives, adding voices, adding different personalities and different points of view to our set. That's all been done in the last 5 weeks, and it was hard work. I asked all my students to write a set for somebody else in the class, and plus rehearse every day and work on their work, because no matter our genre of art is, whether it's music, whether it's painting, sculpting, or stand-up, it's all story. I look back when I first started stand-up a long, long time ago, and Drake Sather wrote a joke. He said, my wife, or my girlfriend, she wants to get his and her tattoos. And I'm thinking, let's buy a house, get married, have some kids. Tattoos seem so permanent. And I always marveled at that joke, just because the way it was constructed and the design of the material and the punchline that I did not see coming. And it set me on to this process of doing stand-up, but also realizing if you want to learn something, teach it. I don't claim to be anything special in what I do. I just love what I do. I love teaching stand-up, I love performing, I love writing it, and I love working with my students. I'm looking forward to tonight. I'm looking forward for them to think outside themselves and take some risks. And I'm most of all looking forward to them connecting to an audience, because we don't need to make everybody laugh. We just need to make ourselves laugh, to like ourselves, to love ourselves. And if we can do that as artists, we'll find our audience, one person at a time. Be yourself, that's the trick. And it's, for some reason, the hardest thing in the world to do. Okay, we're going to get to the class, getting up on stage, and we'll talk to everybody soon. This should be awesome. All right, take care.
Comedy's not easy, because you do gotta you gotta take a risk, be yourself. Like my neighbor, he goes, how do you do that? Like, how do you get up there and tell people jokes, and what if you're not funny? What if they don't like you? It's like, I could never do that. It's like, why do you do that? And I thought, probably to get away from my neighbor. Just negative questions. Don't you hate your neighbors in the wintertime, no matter what time you get up? Both neighbors on either side of us have already shoveled their sidewalks. Hey, passive aggressive, making sure we're lazy, slobbering the block. If you ever want to build onto your house, don't hire a surveyor. Wait for it to snow. Your neighbors will find your property line. I remember the first time I told a joke that actually made someone laugh. I was 7. I remember the day we came back from church, and my dad parked the car, and all the kids are running in the house. My mom grabbed me and she goes, "Hey, help with the groceries." You know, I look at my dad, and I don't know why I said it. I just went, "Call of the Wild." And my dad starts laughing way too hard. He's gut laughing, and while my mom is beating me, all I can think is, "Hey, I'm hilarious." Please, a big hand for the very funny Mr. Clint Work.
All right, I wish you wouldn't have said the 5 times because I still got my list up here. Yeah, is there anybody here from Red Deer tonight? Okay, awesome, this is good, so I can mess up. I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about anybody saying they saw me on TV. I'm like, it's not TV, it was the comedy club. So I'm very happy about this. I am retired. I have a maid. I have a lawn guy, pool guy, and I have a guard dog. But sadly, I actually have to call them Mom, Dad, Son, and Grandma. You know, if you think that's bad, my son, he just turned 18 years old, and he still lives with his grandparents.
Give your love, Mr. Alex Scherzang, please. Oh, Alex.
I was watching a movie, a documentary called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. And I decided I didn't want to watch it anymore, I want to change the channel. When I reached for the remote, I pulled an ab muscle. I can't make this up. Now get this though, I never did change the documentary. The documentary is about a guy who starts a vegetable juicing diet, and he loses a ton of weight, and he gets all healthy. Yay! So I got the bright idea to try it, seeing as I had an injury. I didn't last very much past noon without feeling I was gonna faint. So if anybody wants to buy a juicer, I know a guy.
You are awesome. Keep that love going. Keep it going from Mr. Patrick McManus, please. Oh, Patrick.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Patrick McManus, as Paul said. And how about a round of applause for Paul again? He's been doing a great job tonight. But yeah, speaking of the roads and everything, like it's all ice and horrible driving in the winter. In the spring, it's potholes. But throughout the summer, cars, like everybody who drives a car, dislikes the pedestrians. And the pedestrians dislike cars. But the one thing we can all agree on is we hate cyclists. Because like, I'm a car. No, I'm not. I'm a pedestrian. Oh, guess what I am now? And it's like, they're all over the place. And it's like, really? If I hit you, you may be in the right of way, but I'm at home and you're in the intensive care unit. Like,
And keep your love going for Mr. Con Mullen, all the way from Ireland, my friends.
All the way from Ireland, to be sure. Not tonight. Oh, and how do you like my new Irish hairstyle? It's called a potato look. And I can see we've got a lot of Irishmen in the audience tonight. Oh, and you must be half Irish. Where's your mum from?
Well, my mom's not Irish.
She's not. But it looks good. It looks good. Did you know that we Irish drink $6.7 billion worth of alcohol every year? Yeah. And that's just the toddlers. But the booze did help me. It did give me a knack for Irish dancing, especially the Irish reel on a Saturday night. So I figured, hey, I'll learn how to do Irish dancing, and I'll grow my hair out, and I'll make lots of money. I mean, after all, we Irish invented Irish dancing. The Ukrainians wanted to invent it, but we wouldn't let them. So Irish dancing goes like this. A 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, did you notice that my feet came high off the floor? Right? That's the Irish style. Now, if you're not Irish, it's recommended that you dance the easier version where you keep your feet on the floor, both feet on the floor all the time. Like this. A 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, thank you. I've got a problem. Because my mother is half English. That means I'm only half Irish. So I have to dance with just one foot off the floor. 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And you keep that applause going for the comedy stylist and Mr. Brian Weiss, please. Oh, Brian.
So, you know, the positive thing about having a parent getting older, or let's just say it's senile, is the warped but creative things that they come up with that are really hilarious. My 89-year-old mother eventually found out that I'd been taking a comedy course, and she wasn't very happy with that. So she said that everyone knows that all comedians eventually become alcoholics and drug addicts. Is that all you want to do with your life? Why couldn't you be gay like your cousin?
Keep your love going for the amazing Sabrina Sperber, please. Sabrina.
Wow, thank you. Yes, so good evening. Yes, I am Sabrina Sperber. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Kay, I'd like you to just think back. Was there ever a time where you were face first in gravel, bloodied, and you may have peed yourself? So you may also have epileptic seizures. And so I finally, have this boyfriend, and I'm like looking down into the future thinking, oh my God, there's gonna be that time, right? I'm gonna be on my honeymoon, and I can hear it, it's ringing. Sabrina, you might have a seizure. But don't worry, because I'm gonna be sitting and watching right at the foot of the bed. And I worry. So my mom got sick not too long ago. And I was like, and my boyfriend and I made plans. Because we were like, we're getting together and we're gonna consummate this long-term relationship. And I don't have to worry about what I'm seeing every night. So yeah, we get together. This is gonna be wicked. This is going to be the best. Do you know what this was? Guess what? I had a seizure. And you know what? Now, my boyfriend thinks he's a rock star. Thank you guys so much. Auf Wiedersehen and good night.
Sabrina Sperber, how amazing she is. Sabrina, over here, please. Brian Weiss. Alex Scherzang. Please give him a big hand. Con Mullen. Bob Murray. Patrick McManus and Clint Work. Give them all a big hand, please.
We thought it was really good.
What did you like about it?
Everybody had how do you say it? The rhythm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
It's interesting to watch people trying new stuff and really going out there and trying their best. I know how difficult it is and what an adventure it is it's like going out and trying skinny dipping or something. It's very risk taking, and it's so fun to watch people just be themselves and try their just be that vulnerable and just go out and do it. And Paul, you've done a lot for comedy in this city, and I wish you the best.
Well, we really appreciate your support, my friend.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. Like the whole 5-week process.
I liked it. I was a little scared in the beginning because near the 4th week I was starting to worry that I didn't have anything good, but we had already discussed almost everything ahead of time. Luckily, in the last 48 hours I was able to tie everything together, rehearse it, and have something that resembles an act on stage. It's only going to get more polished and better with the more rooms that I do, and hopefully this could be a set I could use in a showcase one day. So I think it's gotten me back on my feet. I'm glad I took it.
But I've been too chicken to put those 3 minutes on. And I just found about a structured course. I know Sabrina, and I thought the structured course, it sets you up. I come to amateurs all the time, and sometimes the amateur shows, it's pretty weak. You set everybody up. Everybody here tonight was better than any amateur I've seen here on a Thursday night. And it makes me want to consider trying. Got one more sippy.
So, buddy, the 5-week class is different than the introduction class. What did you think of it?
Well, it was completely different. It was like being on a different planet. You're basically going from just having fun to really learning how to do something professionally. And, like we have Ken Hicks here, you got professional people like yourself to talk to. It was really an interesting experience. I feel like I've grown a lot doing this. Like I'm not the same person that I was. I'm a better version of what I was. I hope.
What did you think about the class?
I love the class. This is
what did you like about it?
Well, this is the third time I've seen this class, and each time I hear their material, they get more and more confident each time they say it. They change it up a little bit, and I love it more and more. There's certain parts about it that I feel like I'm hearing for the first time, and it could be just the way they're saying it. It's showing that confidence, and I find it funnier each time. I just feel comfortable in this crowd, and I love the crowd as well, and I love to see the crowd's reaction to them as well. And they're all amazing. I'm a huge supporter of Sabrina, and I tell her, don't you dare forget to tell me when you're on, because I could listen to her over and over again. But I'm glad that I came out, that she introduced me to the class, because now I got to meet all the other comedians too, and I'm happy about that. So.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
What did you take from these last 5 weeks?
The truth of the matter is, this has probably been a really growing time for me, this whole class, the whole venture of it. Working on other people's writing was a real challenge, but it was rewarding because I learned, again, so much more about me. But finishing this with this show, with these other students who are friends of mine now, that's what I can call them, with Paul's guidance, like, you have the confidence to just go out there and keep going. And I promised at the beginning of the show that all I want to make sure I did is to make sure that at the end of the day that someone would be laughing. And I think that I just feel great because now I can go out and make others feel that same way.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you, Sabrina.
Thanks, Paul.
What did you think of these last 5 weeks?
Oh man, this was fun. I had a lot of fun. We all worked together and we worked as teams throughout, and I just really got a sense of being more relaxed, more at ease, and more laid back about able to go out and just do whatever it is we have to do out there. And tonight, this audience was absolutely fantastic. The people were so into it. Everybody was here. We're all here to have a good time. We're going to have fun. I'm going to have fun, and we're all coming along together to have fun and have a few laughs. And we had a heck of a lot of laughs tonight. So thanks very much, Paul. You did a great job.
Thank you. What was the 5 weeks?
Oh, the 5 weeks of the course? It's work. You got to put in the work. But the cool thing that I like about it is when you're writing, what I love is nobody's judging you when you're writing, and you can really find your zone. And it's a journey. It's the journey. You have to not give up. Keep writing. And if you just keep writing, you can always find something. And there was one joke I was actually quite surprised. I surprised myself, and I did a new joke tonight, which I wrote today, and I put it in the set tonight. I was happy with it, and it worked. So I'm gonna keep grinding it out, keep on the journey, and definitely it was a good time. You just got to keep at it. Yeah.
Well done, Clint. Thank you.
And the biggest thing for me, though, that I've always had is I've always been nervous on stage. It's getting better. But it's always there. And I did some breathing techniques that you told me about, and that helps.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you were great. You were great, man.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, this whole. What did you think of the overall comedy night? The class, the audience.
Oh, it was great. The audience was great. It was good night. Good night.
Can I get your email address?
It would be awesome to have like an audience like this every night. So
yeah, wouldn't that be fantastic?
Oh yeah, if we could just take them with us everywhere we go. And
I said that.
Thank you, Clint.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you for the class.
Thank you for being here.
I definitely recommend it to anybody.
What did you think of the comedy night?
I loved the comedy night. I think it was amazing to watch these people get up and in front of a great crowd decide that it was time that they were just going to let their inhibitions go and just feel free and tell their story. And it was amazing to watch.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for talking to them.
Oh, my pleasure. I mean, I was there. We were just talking about how 7.5 years ago is how we started this. Just on a night like this. So. And I wouldn't give it up for the world now. So it's exciting to see other people in that spot.
Yeah, what everyone's doing. With Sabrina, she had a great set tonight.
A lot of them had the best set that I've ever seen them have, and they felt comfortable up there. Like from when I came and helped out with the class, to watch them, stutter and try to find that word and that. And tonight they just let out their story, and it was amazing to watch.
Nice.